ඔස්සදී
Good evening, sir.
good evening පටන් ගන්නකොට කියන්න මට
හරි sir. Shall we start, sir?
okay we'll start. Good evening everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, well, what we are going to discuss now, procurement planning module. Number of things we have to concentrate. One thing important areas of procurement planning module. What are the important areas you think in this module? Okay. Number one, strategic procurement planning. That is the most important first area to be concentrated. You as participants should be able to understand what is the strategic concern of planning. I just little while ago I just mentioned about the strategic concern. Our guideline has concentrated strategic concern. We know that is not there. It is there in basically corporate sector, private sector. I don't think much about the public organization consider strategic components or strategic direction component, we say. We have that. Uh, Historically, the public sector organizations, they have developed their strategic components. What are the strategic component? Vision, mission, objectives, right? They have developed that. And more importantly, especially the corporate sector, they have developed their corporate plans and identify strategies, uh, how they can achieve their goals, objectives. They have to use strategies. But I don't think in public organization they much aware of the strategic aspect, but they just say this is our main mission objectives, and they prepare action plan, procurement plan, and various things. I don't think my personal experience, they are not properly aligned with their strategic component. Strategic component, we say vision, mission, objectives. But we emphasize this important aspect in our procurement planning. When you refer the guideline and manual, you can see some literature. But you have undergone a separate session on strategic management or strategic planning. It contains a lot of information. But I concentrate one aspect of that strategic procurement planning. As I mentioned earlier also, your planning process start with action plan, right? So we'll have to consider first uh, action plan. What action plan? Long-term action plan. At least you'll have to have 3-year action plan. It is a rolling plan. But I wonder whether that is available in government. Many government organizations, they have 1-year action plan, right? But in procurement manual and guideline, we emphasize entities to develop 3-year master procurement plan. They come later, but how you prepare 3-year master procurement plan without at least 3-year action plan? So that has to be addressed quickly. Maybe you have got some instructions from the Ministry of Finance or some other organization to prepare 1-year action plan. But once this guideline has issued, everybody should adhere to this guideline. This is important requirement. So therefore, I say you have to change your paradigm or existing thing and try to prepare three-year action plan, right? Preparation of action plan is not a procurement job. I must say that it is a top management task, right? So when uh, organizing the action plan, every heads of divisions or regional people, regional heads, provincial, everybody should participate because in office, nobody can prepare action plan without addressing to various objectives and activities, etc., etc., and targets, performance target or KPI, we say, key performance indicator. Unfortunately, we cannot see, generally, I don't know whether you can answer me, we cannot see complete action plan because the reason is the existing public administration and financial administration is not performance based. I have mentioned earlier repeatedly that is a fundamental problem in public sector organization. We cannot say public officers are inefficient or ineffective. The systemic failure is there. And many people talk about the systemic failure, but with my long experience in the public sector as well as the private and the projects international, I find that is the very critical problem in the public sector. Why we can't show adequate results? Because we don't have a proper mechanism for that. Not that public officers are inefficient, they can't deliver results, they can. You understand this area because we can very easy to say you must prepare action plan, the procurement plan, master plan, things like that, but it will not happen. No. You know that it will not happen because of the bottlenecks or problems. But I say we cannot blame to other people or politicians especially. That is basically a bureaucratic problem. That is my opinion, right? It's a bureaucratic problem. Top level bureaucrats, not the lower level people, should consider this. Even though our system is not result based, why can't we move to results based and do internal reforms or changes in order to ensure the public money is used on results based? If you look at international practices, since at least 90s, early 90s, the all government's management changed from input-based administration to results-based management. But still, how many years? About 35 years. Still, we have not much concentrated that part. We talk about that. We say something in our guidelines, but it is not sufficient unless you put a very strong effort, especially top bureaucrats. But in absence of that also, even the top level direction is not there, but in your own organization, you can initiate that proper action planning. There's no barrier for that. Nobody stop you not to prepare proper action planning. Why can't we identify the output targets, outcome targets in your action plan? Right? That is my kind request to every participants here also. Right. So my point here, without results, without outputs and outcomes, no point of talking about the value for money also. We talk about the value for money in our first module. We say procurement, when you spend money, you'll have to ensure outputs and outcomes. What outcomes and outputs you can find if you don't have a target outputs and outcomes, at least outputs. Outcome is not easy, but at least output. So all outputs or KPIs, key performance indicator, should be in your action plan under different objectives. If you really look at the action plan, I discussed that area the other day. I don't want to repeat that. You have objectives, you have to identify activities. Under activities, there may be sub-activities. Under sub-activities, maybe sub-activities also. Because every activities in your organization is somebody's responsible. Therefore, in your action plan, the responsibility should also be shown. Who are responsible? The line manager. The lowest level responsible unit is the line manager. Under line manager, there may be other people, but line manager is basically responsible to achieve the expected targets, output target or outcome target. Then next thing is, if you identify your expected outputs for the next 3 years, it is not that difficult. Many departments, many ministries, their output is very clear. Some departments, some ministries, it is not that easy because some are not easy to quantify. But there are ways to do that. This is actually not procurement. So I give some insight for you to prepare a proper action plan. What I'm saying is you should identify your targets, key performance indicators, at least for 3 years. I said some organize, for example, take very simple ID card office. I always take that example. Identity card office or personal ID card office, what their production is issue identity cards, renew identity cards, things like that. Why can't we identify the targets? Very easy. If you take the passport office, that their output is to renew passport, etc., etc. Output is very clear. Even some road development or various organizations, they can identify the output targets. But ministry like Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Public Administration, Ministry of Defense, it is not that easy. But this is not the forum to discuss that, but there are ways to identify their outputs also. So whatever it is, my point is, once you identify the target, the line manager identify the targets, it is his responsibility to identify the required resources. What resources I need to issue another 100,000 ID card or whatever the responsibility given to my division, my unit. In addition to the existing assets, existing resources. We are not talking about the human resource. Other than human resource, what materials you need, what equipment you need, what construction building you need, vehicle, various things you must identify. That is called resource requirements. Still, we are in the action plan. Once you identify the resource requirement, every line manager, they have to summarize that. Line manager 1 say, I need 2 laptops. Line manager 5 say, I need printer. Various things are there. We are not going to procure each and every one separately. We'll have to summarize that, package that, a lot, and slice that, whatever the way we have learned. So you have to do that. Then, based on the value and the emergency, urgency, things like that, we'll have to decide the appropriate procurement method. So once the resource requirements are identified, that should be transferred to the master procurement plan, 3-year master procurement plan. After summarizing, because master procurement plan, we cannot put here and there, 1 computer, 2 computer, things like that. It should be a summary of IT equipment, packages, construction, various things. So master procurement plan, if you look at, again, under 4 categories: works requirement, goods requirement, service requirement, and consultancy requirement. Of all units or divisions or regions of your ministry or department or authority, whatever, whichever. Then once you summarize this based on your requirement, for example, you need copy papers or half sheet annual 500 packets. Sometimes we cannot procure 500 at once. You have to package, or every 3 months you buy this amount, 100 pack, something like that. If you have a framework agreement, that's a separate thing. But if you don't have a separate agreement, you can have 4 packages, at least 100 packs we buy. So there are 4 procurements, at least. Similarly, all other procurements also you have to package properly, and include in your master plan. So if you look at the master plan, it has a couple of important columns. One is the category of procurement. I said works, goods, and service. Second one is your estimated cost. I said we identify the resource requirement, the action plan, but when you come to the procurement, it may be one package or a couple of package, then your estimate is different. You have to prepare estimate. Even works, you have to prepare. So I said the responsible person is contract manager. If you look at carefully our guidelines and manual, now there's a requirement to identify the contract manager who is responsible for the entire procurement of that section, or I mean of the organization, right? He may be under the PMD but not in the PMD. PMD people are facilitating rather than procuring. Okay, so if you look at your procurement requirement in the master plan for 3 years, so there are a lot of packages you can see with different values. Based on value and your other situations, you have to buy the appropriate procurement method. The second column is the procurement method. First column is the estimate. First column is the category. Second column is the estimated cost. Third column is the procurement method. Then you identify preparatory activities. So in line with the master plan, you have to identify and prepare a procurement preparatory plan, which is specified in the guideline. I said, even 2028, you have mentioned in your action plan and procurement plan, you have to construct a building, maybe 200 million. So I said you should not wait until 2028 or until you get the budget allocation. You can start your preparatory work right now or well in advance, right? So very important thing, I think you are in trouble if you don't have proper information. In your master plan, you have to you have to include the reference to the action plan. That means no procurement can be included in the master plan in isolation. In isolation, you can't put procurement requirement. That's what we normally do right now. So computer or building or whatever procurement you identify, there should be a reference in the action plan. All right. So this 3-year action plan is one thing, important thing. Based on action plan, you have to develop. So I said the second important thing is master procurement plan. It is also 3-year. Now you got some idea, some insight, the linkage between the action plan and master plan. Linkage action plan is strategic component, right? Strategic management actually, right? Based on this one, you have to prepare preparatory plan. Maybe 3-year or at least complex procurements for complex procurement. You identify the preparatory activities, maybe 3-year or whatever, right? At least you should prepare one, the upcoming years preparatory activities you have to identify. Whatever it is, preparatory planning is another thing. Another one is very important. Annual detailed annual procurement plan. Before that, you have to prepare annual proposed procurement plan. What is this? For budgetary purpose. So you have your action plan, you have your master plan, and you have preparatory plan. So the budget department, national budget department, or in your corporation, your board of directors, or whoever the executive committee, they request you, you have to submit your budget requirement for that upcoming year or ensuing year. So for in government ministries and department, you'll have to submit estimate to the national budget department of the treasury. For that purpose, you'll have to give only annual. That's why we say annual proposed procurement plan. So that is derived from the 1 year of the master procurement or ensuing immediate year of the master plan. You prepare, for example, in the master plan, now all the requirement you have included, say, 200 million. But that is also, I said, is a top level discussion. Planning meeting should be there, and the head of the organization should chair that. And PMD should facilitate for everything because that is their job. Basically, they have to coordinate, monitor, and organize all things. Then identify the priorities. Even though people have asked many things, uh, you all know that money or resources are limited. Therefore, identify the priorities. Based on priority only, we finalize the master plan. And in the master plan also, even though we have prioritized or reduced, it is still 200 million, for example. When we ask 200 million, when we ask the budget department or other council of management, they also have some constraints or their priorities. They say, no, we can't give this much, or this is not the priority, and some alterations are there. It's okay. So instead of you submit 200 million, but they approve 140 million, for example. Some are postponed to next years or something. So that is okay. That is the normal thing. The next plan you have to prepare is a detailed annual procurement plan. This is actually the implementing plan. Implementing procurement plan for the ensuing financial year or next financial year, right? This is the actual plan you'll have to develop very cautiously, very correctly, because this is the plan you'll have to monitor throughout the year. Each and every package, right? You'll have to put insert dates, expected or planned dates. For example, when we are going to advertise this, when we are going to have the pre-bid meeting, when we are going to close the bid, when we are going to technical evaluation, when we are finishing the final evaluation, when we finish the appeal process, when you finish the approval process, then when are you going to plan the contract award, whatever. There are many. If you have pre-qualification, there are more other steps before we.
So is this the procurement time schedule?
Time schedule is for each and every package, time schedule. Detailed plan has many time schedules of all your procurement. Yes, you are correct. For example, if you take one procurement, it is called the procurement time schedule, PTS. Say purchasing of computer equipment. But you have 15 packages. All 15 packages you have to prepare PTS. So detailed plan is a summary of all PTS. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
That PTS has three rows. First row is the plan. When you are going to plan, the advertisement or whatever. Maybe when you prepare that also, that is, I think, very carefully you have to do, not arbitrarily put dates. It is not possible. Very carefully you have to put. Then sometimes it is not possible due to various reasons. You'll have to revise the dates. The second row is for revise. If you look at one package, there are three rows. I think if you look at that, plan or schedule, sorry, schedule column, plan, then I said revise. We sometimes we cannot do as planned because due to various things. Third one is actual dates. Actual dates. This is important to understand. On the horizontal, we can put all columns, say issuing of bidding documents, closing of bids, pre-bid meeting, closing of bid, pre-bid meeting, everything we can put here, up to contract award. If you look at the detailed plan, it is a summation of all PTS of packages you are going to procure during the year. So this is very important. You should know how to prepare this. And important thing is, as I mentioned, this master plan and detailed plan should be sent to NPC for monitoring purpose. Individual departments, projects, corporations, statutory bodies should send their plans to your chief accounting officer, ministry. The ministry in turn send their consolidated information to NPC for because NPC, very important function assigned by the constitution, is the monitoring of procurement. So now we have already set up the online monitoring system. It is already started. E-monitoring or something, and I can't remember the name, but some people are aware that you can see if you go to our website. So next year onward, that is a mandatory thing. So you'll have to send your actually implementing detailed procurement plan, a master plan for some other purpose, for monitoring purpose. So that is one important thing, right? How many plan? Master plan, preparatory plan, annual proposed plan, and detailed plan we discussed. Okay. On top of that, I said that should be prepared in a strategic manner, not in isolation, because otherwise this plan cannot be possible and useful. But very importantly, action plan and master plan should have a linkage. You cannot put contract in isolation. You have to give the reference. How this procurement derived, how this procurement identified. Okay, so this is the first thing. If you look at this area, I frame a possible question like this. Question number 1. Why strategic procurement planning is critical to any organization? right? There is some form of question. Explain, right? Something like that. So then you should be able to explain the importance of strategic plan. And if we add something, how to prepare, I mean, if you put a part to that, say B, I'm giving some hints for you. We explain or describe the strategic, I said strategic procurement planning process. You should be able to explain, as I explained to you, how you derive your procurement plan considering your strategic components or strategic direction component means vision, mission, objectives. Okay, so that may be one area. Perhaps we can add something, but strategic part. The second, definitely, you should explain. Explain. I mean, I give some idea how to prepare the following plans. You can ask questions if you have any difficulty in preparing any of the things I am mentioning here. Master procurement plan. At least, sorry, procurement preparatory plan. C is a detailed annual procurement plan. These three plans are important. So you should explain very clearly, because then we understand you have internalized, or you have got the real idea of preparing this plan. So that is sufficient question for you to demonstrate your knowledge. Okay, with this starting point, we'll discuss. I don't want to discuss all slides here because it is a part of decision making. Importance of planning. The public sector, those organs that are financed by the public money. This could include government ministries, as I mentioned. Public sector procurement is, when I say in the public sector, acquire goods, yes, acquire goods, works, and services. The goal are to make sure that contracts are awarded to qualified suppliers, contractors, concerned service providers to support public cooperation. That is the important thing, right? Why we procure things, not the sake of procurement or exhaust the budget or finish the budget. That is the fundamental problem. We try to spend the money. We try to spend the allocation. If the money is not spent, we are unhappy. Everybody is unhappy because our performance is measured from financial point of view and compliance point of view, whether we have followed the guidelines and regulation. It is essentially a component. There is no argument. We have to adhere to rules and regulations, and we have to show financial progress. That is okay. But is it sufficient? Is it sufficient to spend the budget? I told you very clearly earlier also, that is the biggest systemic failure in the public sector performance. Public sector performance is measured from financial progress and from the compliance point of auditors. So everybody look at what do you call the deviation of guidelines, FR or whatever. That is okay. But is it sufficient? It is not sufficient. But since this is the paradigm here, everybody tend to spend the money at the end of the year because they want to exhaust the budget and show high financial performance. I also earlier has mentioned it is only a necessary condition, but not the sufficient condition to show the progress. Without spending money, you can't. That's okay. That is necessary, but not sufficient. That's how the value for money come into the scene. The strategic management, the strategic planning come into the scene. Performance based management come into the scene. Various things are missing, I said. I think you as a master graduate should identify this area because you should not be a mechanical, technical people to prepare these plans. It is not that difficult. You should be able to give a new insights to your organizations by providing real what roadmap or real path to organization to generate their performance or through their public operations. So that is ultimately what citizen expects. As a citizen, we are not happy once the Ministry of Health spend this much of billions of rupees for health, or education ministry spend this much of money. So people very commonly ask, 6% of the GDP should be allocated to Ministry of Education. What is your view about that? That is okay. It is only a necessary condition, but not sufficient. Even though government allocates 6% of GDP, one thing is you can't spend because your spending capacity is less and various other problems, as I said earlier. The second thing is you may buy less priority things. Or you may construct idle buildings. You may procure lack of value for money things. You may procure very high price, inflated price things. Still you can corrupt money, waste money. That is also added to procurement expenditure. Therefore, it is not at all sufficient. At all sufficient. I have told you, I think I have explained you enough. At the end of the year, if the money is there, they try to replace their existing furniture with new furniture. Still, you can use this furniture for another couple of years. Or you can have to try to replace existing computer equipment because you have money. And also you have obligation to spend the money and show high risk performance. I told you, we never spend our private money that way because you know our priorities, our value for money, everything we know. Even though theoretically we don't know, but we have a sense, we know how to spend money. We know we don't exhaust our salary or income to show your monthly performance or annual performance. Never. Because you know what to buy and what to not to buy, and what is the priority, what is the less priority, things like that. And that is, I said, the systemic failure. Public sector officers cannot work as household members. They should have systems. That is the lacking. We should introduce performance-based management, accrual-based accounting, performance-based budgeting, value for money auditing, and various things are there. I think in the first introductory session, I explained that. That is my experience as an accountant, as a procurement personnel, and the economic person, the person who has knowledge in economics at least, identified that common problem. Government can't, the politician can't resolve that unless the top bureaucrats identify and give suggestions to government to adapt. if government not adapt is not your problem, it is their problem. But how many times we have attempted that? How many reform suggestions we have put forward to the cabinet for approval, president to approve? I don't think. Some improvements, some suggestions or tinkering were there, but I am not condemning anything. But you see the performance evaluation of public officers still sometimes using. That is just filling of forms. Say excellent or very good or something like that without properly analyze their performance. But if you look at the private sector, they very nicely analyze their performance. Their system support for that. But system, they are what you call the resource manager, what you call resource ERP, enterprise resource planning. Those are computer packages. Enterprise resource planning includes procurement planning and every action you take procurement and the officer's performance targets, everything is included. So just to understand that. What I am telling is public organization should deliver a sufficient performance or commensurate with the money they spend. That's why the value for money come into it. Not how many buildings we construct, how many vehicles we purchase. It is not the target. I said those are not outputs. Procurements are not outputs. Those are only inputs. You can spend your whole budget by purchasing a big vehicle to the minister. Millions of rupees you can spend and show high capital performance, capital expenditure. What we have done is we have procured a very high value vehicle to the use of minister or top rank officers. Now you understand what I am trying to say. So be mindful to use existing opportunities. I mean, don't expect Treasury or the President Office issue a circular from this day onward. We are going to switch to a performance base. I don't think that will come recently. But still, you are obliged to prepare your action plan and procurement plan. No? Now you can use these insights and you train other people, at least in your organization and your division, to develop proper planning. Because if you look at the contribution to governance, I said, if you don't do correct thing, you do wrong thing is a minus, right thing is a zero, and if you change other people, change the system, only positive. Don't forget that. So, what I want to say is, I don't expect you mechanical or technical jargons here. You should have a proper insights. What is the lacuna, or the lacking areas in the public sector? We cannot blame all the time to other people and nothing can be done because of this. No, we can do. How? Now you can revisit your action plan, revisit your master plan, master procurement plan, revisit your detailed procurement plan, etc., and try to address the performance aspect as much as possible. The goals are to make sure that the contracts are awarded to qualified people and service providers to support public operations in accordance with the public procurement rules. Okay, the public procurement typically has a lot more principle that is we discussed enough. The public sector procurement allows public owners to maximize output. Yeah, that's the point I always like. Maximize output and outcome. How? Put your expected outcomes, if possible, at least output in your action plan. As funds have come from public taxes or other grant, It is important that public procurement ensure that the funds are managed in a way that demonstrate value for money. That's what I said. If you don't identify the outputs and outcome, how we talk about the efficiency and effectiveness of that value for money concept or paradigm, as well as accountability and other things. Okay. The aim of public sector is to provide public services. Public services. I said again, no matter how much we spend to health ministry, people look at, citizens look at the results they deliver. When they get medicine, whether that medicine is quality and their curability, and various other points there. That means if you look at health ministry, your health ministry procurement plan should address to the citizens' expectation and support. But if you look at very simple organization, as I mentioned, passport and similar department, very easy. You have to prepare the targets and link your targets to procurement. That is my point. Support government operation at all levels within the country. Moreover, procurement expenditure, we said, is a big component. Private sector and public sector procurement is different. I said due to various things I said earlier also. Strategic concern we discussed. You can read. Okay, process we discuss. Mission statement you have to consider. Objectives, everything you have to consider. This one, at least for, again, since I have framed up a question, the strategic planning process for procurement is divided into two parts. First part is developing a strategic plan. I said it is not procurement. It is a managerial or human resource response, which allows the procurement department align goals, right? So procurement division or PMD, they have to take the responsibility of the procurement planning part. The second part allow procurement determine how it is going to accomplish element set forth in the strategic plan. Okay, that is basically ultimately the goal of strategic procurement planning is to effectuate positive change in our quality system. Those are words. Without a strategic procurement process, there will be miscorrelation between the procurement department function, PMD, and the overreaching needs of the organization. So therefore, in this context, PMD has a bigger role to play. Okay, that's what I want to concentrate about strategic. But you can revisit the material, discuss the lecturer regarding the strategic planning process. That is important, right? Different plans I mentioned. But before that, there is a very important thing. You cannot identify your procurement requirement without a need assessment. So another question you can think of. Sample question or model question, I said. Another area you can think of procurement need assessment area.
So, excuse me, one question.
Yes, ask any question.
So, when preparing the procurement plan, normally in the government setup, the ministries implementing some project through the district secretary and other departments.
Okay.
At that time, the particular procurement, who should include their plan, the ministry or the implementing department?
Implementing department.
Actually, they get to know at the end of the, normally, as you said, end of the year, October, November, December.
That is all practical problems. But
Yes.
if we have projects
Yes.
under ministry, they I mean, under funding project, definitely they have to prepare this plan and everything very nicely. And otherwise, the project they won't finance for the project.
Yeah.
First requirement, they request plan, and they have a lot of requirement when you prepare plan.
Yes.
So I agree, but you see there are a lot of shortcomings in the planning, procurement planning process. We
Yes.
identify overnight or within very short period, we can't, complete all, but identify the lapses and try your level best to address these issues, at least with your knowledge and things like that. But another area I said the need assessment. Without need assessment, you cannot prepare master plan or whatever plan. So that is also done basically through PMD people. They have to take the initiatives, right? Say one, okay, for example, one division say we need a big printer, for example. Okay, printer. Another department say again they also need a printer because they identify their requirement in isolation. Now 3 people have requested printers. What the job of the PMD or planning meeting? You have to conduct a planning meeting. Give me a suggestion. 3 printers they request. Are we going to purchase 3 printers or do something else? Should do something else. Tell me.
So all three has to be, bundled and then get a quotation.
No. Before that, need assessment we will discuss later. We have a presentation or big presentation. The essence of that. First, PMD or through the planning meeting, they must identify why you need a print. How many printers you have? How many printers you have? How many computers you have? Something like that question, right? One thing. Supposing they are really need a printer, all 3, they can suggest why not you go for network printing rather than purchasing 3 by 1. That is need assessment, right? You have to give solution. The procurement need assessment's objective is to reduce the procurement demand. Don't forget that. Reduce the demand, not to procure and spend the money, right? So therefore, need assessment is another area you will be questioned. I'm asking. Another area I'm writing here, procurement risk management. Areas I'm giving. We'll try to discuss. Once you identify the need, then you'll have to identify the risk also. Identification, risk identification. There are many risks. We'll discuss identification. And you have to assess the risk. Assess. Then what to do? Mitigation, risk mitigation. There are various risks at different areas at the preparatory level, evaluation level, implementation level. For example, if there's a risk of failure of good, that's why we ask warranty. The risk mitigation. Our risk we transfer to the supplier. Okay, you are responsible to give 1 year warranty or 2 year warranty for this, something like that. The various points are there, but basically I'm telling your area, risk and need. Okay, a questionable area. So public and private, the differences. Strategic concern we discuss, yes. Different plans we are talking. Yes. I said need assessment, right? These are the plans we mentioned: master plan, annual proposed, preparatory, detailed, time schedule as an ask is chronological order of all procurement activities of a package. When we are going to pre-qualify, when we are going to issue pre-qualification, if we have pre-qualification also. Otherwise, we can start with the preparation of bidding documents, approval of bidding document, then issue of bidding document, finish, then bid notice, publication of bid notice or request for bid or RFQ, whatever. Then pre-bid meeting generally and close the dates. After that, we have technical evaluation or bid evaluation, then final evaluation or procurement committee level evaluation, then comes the appeal period, then comes the after appeal the approval authority. I mean, somebody should approve, not the committee, different approving authority, then contract award. Those are, again, I'm telling, generally you should have a clear idea of the what is PTS. Here we give some idea, but need assessment is a separate procurement session. Public procurement need assessment involve identifying and documenting the specific goods, services, or works a public entity required to meet its objectives, ensuring those needs are legitimate and aligned with organizational objectives and targets. Goods, for example, Example include determine the types of computers needed for a police station, the scope of a hospital construction project, or the specification for a new road. Those are different example. Vehicle for a public transport board, railway, specifying the type of vehicles, buses, trains, their capacity, their fuel type, and any special requirement. I mean, you have to identify various information. Office supply for a government agency, identify the types of quantity of stationery paper, what type of paper, what is the GSM type. Those are coming under specification or employer requirement in case of works, things like that. Services, water, gas, etc., security service, IT support, works, building, construction road, all are requirement. Okay. Generally, in a nutshell, government procurement is not just about buying goods, service, and undertake construction work. It is about reducing the overall impact of government. I said reducing the demand. Need assessment is not to put everything people ask into the plan. Reducing the overall impact of government. Reduce the demand. Don't try to purchase 3 laptops, 3 whatever the printers. Go to network. Who should decide? The top management should decide. Otherwise, everybody is happy to have separate printers in their office. That is normal human behavior. One of the most obvious way to do this, reducing demand of goods, whatever, is about avoiding unnecessary purchases, number one, for construction. Now, if you look at our country, very interesting thing I want to discuss with you, but I don't know whether time is permitted. At least this. Now, we face a disaster, flood disaster. How many billions of assets we lost? They say more than 1,000 billion, right? Okay. One thing is some assets are not in records. Some assets are not in records of asset registers or fixed asset register. That's what the problem I said earlier. 13 billion loans, 4 billion assets. it is, I said, accounting problem, right? Mahavali is there, Umayo is there. Do you think they all are recorded in asset registers in Mahavali Ministry or Irrigation Ministry? But we have got loans for Mahavali. We have got loans for irrigation, various. We are paying that. Only the debit is there, but asset is not in record. Now, forget about that. Now we have lost many dams or whatever culverts, the things like that, roads. Now we got loans or grants or whatever, we replace, try to replace. When you spend money, that goes to GDP again. That give additional percentage of GDP growth because public expenditure is going up because of lost. Then perhaps we can show positive growth due to disaster. But as an accountant, I'm telling, there should be a growth if we minus the lost asset. Supposing we spend 1,000 billion, we lost 800 billion asset valued earlier, and only 200 growth should be taken into account. Now, I don't think that type of things we can think, at least even imagine. So maybe a disaster may give rise to positive growth because of account. But private sector or corporate sector, it is not the case. They account every asset. Their asset, their liabilities are there. Asset minus liabilities and net worth. But we have asset, no records. We lost asset, no record. Not way to keep records, at least. We just estimate. But when we replace that with additional loan or additional grant or whatever, we increase the expenditure and give rise to growth rate. Okay, you think of that. That is my insight. One of the most obvious way to do this, reducing demand, need assessment is about avoiding unnecessary purchase, ensure what purchase meet requirement. Purchase, what is purchase? Purchase, ensure what purchase. Yeah, meet requirement. Design, procurement and contract flow flexible over time. Okay. Example how need assessment may affect procurement outcomes. A government institution choose to repair furniture rather than procurement, rather than purchasing. A government department buy fewer desktop because some staff prefer to work laptops, right? A school award flexible contract catering services so that the amount of food provided reflect the daily student numbers. You see how we can utilize this real need assessment information to procurement. For example, take a catering service of a school. We avoid the contract. For example, canteen man. We pay something to the man based on student number, but daily attendance may be less. So your procurement should be based on actual consumption. Discuss any other. Okay. This is all to give you some idea about user consult. That is another aspect of need assessment. We should procure to meet the requirement of the user. When we purchase fertilizer, for example, we should consult the farmers. Similarly, when we purchase medicine, we should consult the patients, right? The users of procurement may be internal or to buying organization or external or citizens, both. In order to ensure purchases are appropriate of their need, user must be consulted. This should take place prior to the start of the procurement planning. Yes, that is the point I want to stress. Are we thinking about? I don't know. We are far, far away. It seems common sense, but appropriate user consultant is often lacking in procurement procedures. Example of how to conduct user One is a questionnaire. You can use a questionnaire or online surveys. Observation, that is another way. And analysis of existing patterns or whatever, analysis to identify user requirement. A review is another. And planning meeting, that is given in our guideline also. You have to have a procurement planning meeting that is organized by the PMD. Right? So those points are important for you to materialize this concept. Otherwise, these are mere literature, right? Theory. We learn and never apply. Don't know how to apply also, and just learn. Inviting users to attend supplier demonstration. Invite users to attend supplier demonstrations. Are we doing that? Or we decide by our own? Market consultation, everything is part and parcel. So I don't want to go to all things. Need identification. Okay, all you have to follow, I think we have given. My point is we have to prepare a need statement. Yeah. Example, the department has identified need statement. Yeah, is another one. After doing all things. Example, the department has identified need of 6 smart screens, 6 for use in 12 meeting rooms. The screen will facilitate web conferencing and reduce the need for document printing. Based on user consent, a maximum of 6 meetings requiring a screen are held at any one time. Only 6 meetings. What is the survey says or analysis? The existing projectors consume a large amount of energy and often break down. That is their experience. The department will consider proposal leasing the screen under service contract rather than purchasing. So you can add rather than purchasing. Now you got some idea, the need assessment. For your exam purpose, you should incorporate these ideas into your answers.
Sir, only the requirements which are filtered from a need statement
Yeah.
will be moved to master procurement plan.
Yeah, need assessment is prepared, that is approved. Then at the planning meeting, we take decisions. Then only we include to plans. Okay, no? Got the point?
The need statement, is it unique for each need?
Yeah, each need. I mean, not very straightforward thing. Say, actually, that can be applied for any procurement. Here, for example, based on need assessment in the previous slide, the subject matter might be supply of energy efficient smart screens. Appropriate government procurement criteria can then be chosen for each aspect of the contract. So once we decide to purchase, then that should reflect in the specification here and award criteria and contract performance clause, everything. That is the importance of that. Once you identify this thing, one thing is you apply to planning, that is okay. Then that should reflect in your respect to documentation, specification, user, what do you call it, criteria, evaluation criteria, things like that. Okay. Now you read this one because time is running. Okay. Again, I have talked about the preparation of procurement plan. I saw a couple of presenters has touched upon this planning aspect. Mr. Surya Bandar also has done a presentation. Another person, I think, whoever, it doesn't matter. That all talk about the preparation of procurement. Actually, they have also given some slides. Please look at that. PP identify procurement requirements based on the activities, sub-activities or sub-activities of the agreed action plan. That's what I said earlier. PP identify procurement items, all things works consultant services. Develop packages slicing. I said all things I discussed. You have to identify, okay, similar items. We have to prepare a lot, require dates. That is also another dimension. We discussed that. Then all points I discussed, decide procurement method, scheduling, and prepare PTS for each package. Different plans we discussed. Then you should be able to explain, I said, how to prepare these plans. I am not going to touch again. Preparatory plan. Okay. All right. With this, that is okay. We'll go to the another presentation. Need assessment I have covered in my second presentation, maybe, I don't know. Just skip that one. Preparedness. You can read these slides when you prepare the preparedness plan or preparatory plan. Technical specification is part of the preparatory work now. So once you identify the procurement, goods or works or whatever, you have to identify the specification. That is mainly responsible the contract officer, contract manager, supported by other people, right? But PMD also should be coordinated because they also should maintain generic specification data. For example, if you want to buy a laptop, what is the generic specification? A vehicle generic specification. Each and every officer can't, do research and, spend time and, do by their own. The central unit, PMD, should work on this area, okay? For that, in case of specification, the first step in procurement process is to identify requirement. We say all procurement requirements begin with a precise of a need, that is also discussed. Concept development, requirement definition, or in case of services, we prepare a terms of reference, TOR, for services, statement of works for works procurement, and goods only we prepare specification, right? Those words also important. Once you have prepared this one, technical, you have to prepare the budget or estimate. In case of works, we have given some guideline in the manual how to prepare your budget, BOQ. Okay, those are additional points. You have to avoid over specification or under specification. I said earlier also, if you buy a computer with 2 terabyte and use for typing, is a over specification, a waste of money. So they have to, the PMD or planning committee should look at what is the use, use after we decide to purchase. All other questions we have to answer. Okay, why we buy 2 terabyte? What purpose you are just typing? Why we buy? Why waste money? Something like that. all are important. Okay, okay. The procurement officer plays a support role to requisition in the following areas. Okay, okay, you can this one. Requirement development, requirement analysis, information gathering, write specification or TO or whatever. Then you have to requisitioning. All things I don't want to repeat again because of the time. Okay, this is all regarding specification. You can just follow for your interest. We don't need to ask specific questions on this area because this is a planning module. All steps. Okay, I just skip this one. This one, though it is also a separate subject, part of bidding document. But when you plan, you'll have to prepare proper estimates, right? In order to include a correct estimate is a big problem. We prepare estimate when once we advertise, that is outdated already. Or we prepare estimate very high value, high overestimation. That is a common practice. Or underestimation. Then bidders ask variations and price escalations and things like that. So preparation of cost estimate, the cost of infrastructure as accurate to the extent possible plays a pivotal role when designing the feasibility of such investment. Preparation of, and based on the estimate, you'll have to get the approval also. According to present practice, if the value is more than 20 million of your project, you'll have to get the cabinet approval in order to include into your plan, especially works construction. I don't know much about that. Please check that. Project approval, conceptually approve the infrastructure project by the cabinet. I don't know whether it is practical. However, cost estimate, you have to look at this area, just go through for your understanding because those are detailed things I don't want. Here the percentage we have direct construction cost is an important thing. We use always as a percentage of DCC. Feasibility we have allocate 1% based on value large 2.5%, maximum 3%, 3.5%. If the value is if the value more than 300 to 2.5, medium less than 200, 300, and more than 100, 3%. Yes. That's how it goes, right? Less than the highest preliminary designs and detail. If you hire a consultant for that, this is the limit you can pay for that. Keep in mind. If you hire an external person, those are the limits you can pay. Supervision, altogether 5% of this direct contract cost, construction cost. Variation, physical contingency and price adjustments. This is physical contingency 10% of DCC. That can go up to 15%. Based on the value. If more than 500 million, go up to 50. This is price contingency. There are two things. This is physical. This is physical. That means scope change. This scope change, it can go up to 10% of the direct construction cost. If it is more than that, you have to go to the cabinet. Price contingency is 15%. Okay. For procurement not exceeding 200. 200 or 100, I don't know. Check that. Earlier it was 100. Check whether it is correct. Total cost estimate shall be authorized by the head of the organization and otherwise go to the secretary. More than that. Okay, those are additional information. Don't worry. Bill of quantity. Okay, with this, I'll stop for a small break. Pre-qualification actually not relevant to this module. That is should discuss under bidding documents, but then we just go through because I no point of discussing pre-qualification right now. It is time consuming. Okay, post-qualification is important. That is important in the evaluation module. Okay, so we can conclude with this presentation as well. Okay, now we frame some questions and got some insight. Okay, stop for a break. Okay. Hello. Can you see this presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We quickly go what we can learn about the risk management regarding your exam at least. This one. Procurement entities can address what are the, however, successful public procurement is threatened by risk in areas as device compliance, sustainability, and various areas. Compliance risk and sustainability risk and operational risk, very important. So what we have to do is there are a number of identifying risk, assessing risk, and monitoring risk and control risk or mitigation. To do so, they use general tools such as risk register. This is the important capital. Oh, what else? What has happened? What has happened? I have not to signal. What is this? Oshadi. Hello. So I don't know how to change this one. Say okay. Risk, register. That's what I want to do. This come singular font. And risk matrix. Okay. Whatever it is, I don't want much about that. What I want to talk is why risk management matters for public procurement. Public procurement is the key pillar for delivering public services, as we discussed, and the strategic government objectives. Risk impacting public procurement process have concrete and significant consequences on the yes. So it has consequences to the quality, quantity, timeliness, basically, right? And also cost. This section defines the scope of risk, okay? Categories of risk, okay? Risk category, just identify. Complex. You just read the other things. I don't want. Okay, this one. conceptual risk factors. No, please go further. This one, yeah. Risk management cycle. Identification, assessment. That's what we discussed. What are the risks we have regarding the procurement? What is the likelihood, the probability of risk occurring? How, and if it is a probability, how severe? Whether serious one, and the impact. When we assess that severity and the impact, then we'll have to evaluate what can be done to reduce, what can be done to reduce the likelihood and impact of it. That is important. Once we identify and assess what actions we can take to reduce the impact and likelihood. Okay, then we have to monitor. Okay. Just those are conceptual things, no? So there are different risks, inherent, net risk, and residual risk. I have explained clearly what is all this thing. I don't want example of categorization of risk. What is the example? Regulatory compliance. We said 3 areas, no? Sustainability, operation. Now we have say economic and contextual. Another one. Compliance risk. Compliance with public procurement regulatory framework is a risk, whether they adhere or deviate. Compliance with relevant regulatory framework, integrity risk, fraud, corruption, that is another risk. From the environmental risk, social risk, it's a human right violation, labor right violation, resilience risk, inadequate specification, that is also sustainability part coming. Operational, digital risk, capacity risk, that is very common. We don't have the capacity or skills. Supplier risk, that is another con. Supplier is unable to supply and various risks. That is coming under operational. Economic and budgetary risk, insufficient money, funding or something like that. Market risk, low number of bidders, yes, that is also common. I mean, those are categorization. Okay, this is common thing, compliance, regulatory. Because this is a long presentation, I can remember. I don't want this one, I just skip because you consider this area, how to identify risk. Right. This is data source. We can. This one, second one is assessment, important. Considering likelihood and severity, you have to assess the risk. Those are notes I have given. This one, can you remember? The very high, moderate, and low. This is the impact, this is the likelihood. Likelihood is high, impact is high. These red areas are very high risk. These brown areas are again high. These yellow areas are moderate, and this one low risk. This also should come low risk. Green one. Huh? I don't know. Right. So just follow that. For example, very high. Huh? What happened? Budget exceed by 50%. So because of this risk probability and impact, budget will exceed 50%. It's a big problem now. Unacceptable performance failures. We cannot contract or supplier will not perform. Key milestone delay, big delays, more than 6 weeks. That's how they have identified. Very high. Say low cost change can be accommodated within the budget. Cost change accommodated. It's not a big impact to budget. Schedule adjustment can accommodate with plan. Schedule adjustment. I mean delays and other things. They can accommodate. So high again budget again 25%, delay critical, delayed 3 to 6 weeks, budget exit. I mean moderate. I mean just to get scale of risk and impact examples, right? Just to understand the subject. Third one is
Excuse me, regarding the previous slide.
okay, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can read this 16, 12, these figures? Where should
16, 12. That is that is given here. This one here, very high 4. They have given 4. No, 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. 1 is a low one. Here 1 comes like this. 2 comes moderate. Yeah, this is low. No, wait. Probability of 26 to 30% will occur 4 to 10 times. Probability of I can't remember how we can calculate it. Anyway, 75 to 100%, very high. Okay, impact. Right. That we have calculated likelihood multiplied by impact. Right? Likelihood multiplied by impact. 4 into 4 is 16. Here. Okay. Likelihood is 4. Impact is 4. 16.
Yeah.
4 into 3 is 12. Right?
Yeah.
This is 4 into 3 here. 12. Right? 3 into 3 is 9. 4 into 2 is 8. 2 into 4 is 8. Okay? Likelihood and impact. Okay.
Then what is the 16?
16 is 4 into 4. Likelihood is 4. Impact is 4. Right?
Then we should pay attention. Then it is a risk. Then risk is this very high for these
high.
criteria.
Yeah, very high. Likelihood and impact is very high. Here, this one. Very high is this one, all 4. All 4. This 4, likelihood 4, and impact 4. This is high 3 and 3. Moderate 2 and 2. Low 1 and 1. Okay. The point earlier we have given how we calculate the this one. If you read this one, I think you cannot remember how to calculate likelihood into impact is the risk calculation. Okay. Anyway, you can just follow and you can understand easily. Fourth one, I said that risk evaluation and treatment. Broadly, organization face 4 options right? Once we identify the risk, there are 4 options. One thing is accepting the risk. You accept the risk. This may be appropriate when the inherent or net risk is of suitably low likelihood. Net risk, inherent, and all are defined here. Low likelihood or severity when the cost of the exercise outcome is relatively low. Right? Then we can accept that. Or when the cost of mitigating the risk is very high. Rather than mitigating, we accept that. Even when deciding to accept it, it may still be necessary to develop plans to monitor. Risk plan is another word. Risk management plan, we say. Right? Risk management plan. Organization should have a risk management plan to monitor the risks and respond to the is realized. For example, when undertaking an innovation procurement, very innovative one, there is an essential risk that an appropriate or viable solution may not be developed. It's a risk because it's innovative. Transferring some of or all risk the risk another part, transferring rather than accepting, transferring. We transfer that risk to the supplier, for example. For example, risk can be transferred through the purchase of insurance, right? We can ask the contractor to get an insurance of 110% of the contract value. If there's a flood or disaster comes, we can recover, right? So we are not accepting that the insurance company take the risk. Or inclusion of indemnification clause. Like consultant service, we get professional indemnity certificate, like an insurance. Okay. So whatever it is, we do risk transfer rather than accepting. Third one, this is again evaluation and treatment. Mitigating and controlling risk. How? By reducing the likelihood and or severity through a variety of treatments. For example, a public entity may mitigate the risk. The specifier may not meet users' need by putting in place formal processes to involve users in the development technical. Yeah. So if we follow normal process to develop technical specification without consulting the users, without data, whatever. Risk control involves devoting additional resources. Risk control, how to control, we have to devote additional resources to reduce the criticality of risk, and public entities should ensure that they are efficiently allocating resources that the cost of reducing a risk, likelihood, and severity are balanced against the benefit. Okay, annex. I have given the annex that you will understand. A, for example, look at that. Of public procurement risk. This is how we are going to mitigate or control. Now, another area is completely avoiding rather than accepting, avoiding risk. Entity by changing the procurement plan or abandoning the project, we abandon the procurement. For example, the procurement might be cancelled. It makes analysis found that there were no or very few potential bidders. Our guideline also provide if there are no adequate thing, sometimes we can cancel and rebid by reducing this. Just to get an idea about these 4 areas. In case of risk management, these 4 areas will be important. Okay, those are additional reading. I don't want discuss again and again. Because I want to show you a list. All the additional things you can read. Communicating risk or whatever. Okay, this one is important. This one is important for you to understand how we identify the risk. Overview of key procurement cycle risk for common goods and services. There are three phases we have now: pre-tendering or pre-planning stage, pre-tendering stage, and post-tendering. Here, pre-tendering. This is also pre-tendering, post-tendering. Okay. Okay, we'll see. Earlier we used the word tendering, pre-procurement. Need analysis. Stage is need analysis, identification of needs, including engagement with stakeholders. Okay. Key risk. Needs are not adequately comprehensively identified or understood. That is the risk, no? Even though we have that stage, that is happening now. We don't adequately or comprehensively identify risk. Need. It's a risk. Market analysis. We have to do market analysis to identify the specification, estimates, everything. We have to research availability of solutions and engagement, assessing the market ability to respond to the procurement and preparing the market to respond. That is our stage. The procurement strategy is badly informed and market is unprepared to respond. Procurement strategy is bad, not correct, and market is unprepared to respond. Right? That may be risk because our strategy is not fit to the market, maybe. Drafting technical specification. You see the very common thing, analysis and selection of potential. The wrong solution is selected or it does not fully address the identified needs. That is the risk. Common thing, now we can understand that. Make or buy decision. Earlier we said we should not all produce or buy, sometimes in production organization. Capabilities are incorrectly assessed and responsibilities inefficiently distributed, because that is also a risk. Our capability incorrectly assessed. We think we can, but responsibility distribution is not correct. Okay, so to get some insight, maybe post-tendering. It's still pre-tendering. Right. That is the problem. I just I wondering, because the word we use separate now. We put one here. I don't know. I can put that. This is stage one in our case. This is also case one. This is second stage. I don't know. This has how to change the fonts. This is singular font comes. Anybody can tell me? Something has happened. How to change the font? Oshadi, are you there?
So you can just highlight that and highlight tendering, and then the font will come, no sir. Which font you selected?
Font in the sense this comes singular version. Here.
Real bold.
So on the top you can see there is something like an A with an eraser. Left,
Wait,
sir.
Wait, show me. Wait. Eraser.
Yeah.
A with
No,
eraser.
there is an A with the eraser. Go left, sir. Left near the
Yeah.
yes.
I got it.
Yeah. If you type
So
that, now you press and see. Now you press 2.1. No, you
this is two. No, it's still this. The
will
eraser
come
is
in.
still there. It's still there, eraser.
No, that will be there. That will just remove all the the changes that you
No.
have made.
I don't know. Something has gone wrong. I don't know how to change. Anybody can tell me? This eraser is there. I press that. Hide quick access toolbar. What customer? The ribbon collapse ribbon.
Sir, in your keyboard,
Okay.
press Alt and Control key at once.
In the Alt and Control.
Control.
Alt tab.
Alt and Control, two keys at once.
Wait. All. Face all.
Alt and Control.
Alt.
Yeah, ALT.
Right. Okay. Honey. Now see. Maybe. No, that comes somewhere there. Alt and Control I press. Yes. No, it doesn't work. Okay. This is third one. Third. We'll check later. Same 3 stages. That's why I want to say. Okay. First stage is our preparatory. This pre-tendering they say. So this table is important, right? That's what I want to say you. Different activities, stages or activities. The
Sir,
risk.
excuse me.
Yes.
The key is Alt and Shift, not
Alt
Control.
and
Shift.
shift. Okay. Once.
If
Okay.
you change the keyboard,
We'll see. Now we'll see.
And see in the right down area, so you have selected the
No,
single
so now see
keyboard.
the whether it work. No. You said
So near the
control and
Wi-Fi, you can see it's there. You have chosen the single keyboard.
here.
Yeah, change that, sir.
Oh,
English.
thank you so much. Yeah, maybe by mistake. Now it's might be correct. Yes, thank you. This is still stage 1. Thank you so much.
Welcome, sir.
Okay, fine. So now this is important for this. I am trying to explain you. These are the 3 stages, same stages. You can use our traditional thing, pre-contract stage. Pre-contract stage. That is what we are familiar now. This is post-tendering, say post-contract administration. Contract management, we say. This area, try to understand. This is planning, and our thing is planning, procurement. Planning and preparatory stage. Preparatory. Then you are familiar, no? So these are the activities in this stage. Key risk. Okay. If you come to packaging decisions, I said here we finish here. Yeah. So we identify different divisions, different people ask different things. We try to package, slice or something. Packaging decision, contract scoping. No? So deciding to group the procurement into multiple lots. Okay. Lots are created in a way that reduce competition. Yeah, you see, because of our lot, that reduce the competition or introduce inefficiencies. Because we make it very big, then only few suppliers are available. You just understand what I am trying to say. We don't know what will happen. We automatically does this, but that impact to the competition. Got the point, no? Again, contractual relationship, contract design, choosing how to structure the contractual relationship between the buyer and the supplier, contractual relationship, supply. Risk are inefficiently allocated or incentive structure is misaligned. Okay. contractual relationship, contract design phase, risks are inefficiently allocated. So we have not properly allocated. Bidder selection process choice. Choosing a procurement process available in the procurement legislation or guideline risks that the most efficient bidder will not be selected. Bidder selection process choice. Risk is most efficient bidder will not be selected because of our low price or lowest evaluated price or whatever. No? So request for proposal, bid, and tender submission. The process of issuing a request for tender and receiving bids from potential supplier is our stage. Lack of transparency, unequal treatment, and competition failure. What is this? Request for proposal, RFQ or RFB, IFB, whatever, and tender submission. The process of issuing a request of tender, we use our normal familiar word, request for bid or invitation, invitation for bid, invitation for bid, IFB, lack of transparency, unequal treatment, and competition failure, right? Because yes, potential suppliers. So we a short list or something like that. Tender phase, second stage, bid evaluation and award. The process of evaluating and selecting tenderers. The best value tender is not selected. That is very common risk because our thing is lowest price. That's why I said in the evaluation, you must consider rated criteria, how we can, or in the World Bank, they say best and final offer, best and final offer. Right? They use different terminology. Still, in our criteria has a risk, right? Because we bias towards the low cost. The best value tender is not selected. Post-contract contract management, the contract is not implemented as written. Example, supply changes for good and services not delivered. Okay, that is supplier charges for goods and service not delivered. What is this? Contract is not implemented. That is the thing. Contract is not properly implemented. Okay. Right. This to get some insight. So all details are given here for you to follow. I don't want to. I have no time to discuss all. These are another important. Same thing or different? Need analysis, identify needs or including engagement of the stake. Needs are not adequately or comprehensively, I think. Option appraisal, analysis and selection of potential solution. The wrong solution is selected. Mark, the procurement strategy is badly informed. You just compare the previous list and this one. Procurement strategy is included here. That is a new word. Don't panic on this. Bid evaluation, the best value, same thing, I think, seem to be okay. Don't worry. All additional reading for you. Another, okay. Yeah, this one is another one I want to show you. This one important. I bold it. Okay. The table below present risk factors and associated control measures. This is one. Risk factors and associated control measures or mitigation measures. Sorry. Throughout the public procurement process, the list is not comprehensive and risk may fall into multiple procurement phase and risk categories. Risk category, an example. Very important thing. Again, the same. For your easy understanding, planning and preparatory, you put that later. Okay. Risk. What is the risk? And the planning stage, limited or lack of an adequate need analysis. Okay. What is the risk category? Operational risk. This is operational risk. How to control, how to mitigate. Control, or you can use another word, mitigate. Mitigation. Right? Capacity building. You see, that's what we say. Train people. Capacity building on need analysis. Train them. Right? It's operational risk. Okay. Identify the people, needy people, or PMD people, or contract people. Involving an end user in the definition of evaluation. Involving end users, and define and validation of needs through surveys, meeting, questionnaires. So in order to mitigate the risk, you identify the users and get some data through surveys or whatever meeting. Preparation and publication of an annual procurement plan. This is what we have mentioned in the guideline. Can you remember? Advanced procurement plan. That means we publish our notice in advance. The master plan also we can publish as to general procurement notice for suppliers or contractors to touch upon. Then they will tell us, okay, when you really need, tell us, we will submit bids. That is an important thing to identify the proper supply relationship. Got this point, right? That indicates information such as budget, expected timeline, and brief description. Basically, for works, we give the budget, goods we don't give. Whatever it is, we give the brief description, timeline. I don't know whether we can give the budget also of the need. Okay, then potential suppliers get ready for that. Another thing, these are all you have to study, very closely study. Limited or lack of adequate market analysis, because we say you have to do market analysis, but it's a risk. What is the category? Sustainability category. We have not done market analysis properly. We highlight that also. Here, need analysis not inadequate. Capacity building again on market analysis. Development and use standardized process and template for market. Standardized process and market for market analysis. How to do market analysis? You give some step by step or some toolkit or something, or checklist. The proper word is checklist. Another one, unequal treatment of economic operators. Economic operators mean the bidders, international, EU. Actually, EU use this word, European Union. Probably I have got from EU. Bidders. Regulatory compliance, that is the category. Compliance or guideline. We say compliance or guideline. Ensure that relevant information is shared with the economic operators or bidders, and keep record of meeting with potential bidders. That means our pre-bid meeting or something. Widely disseminate information about upcoming tenders and opportunities to participate in market consultations through prior information notice, GPN, General Procurement Notice, or Advanced Procurement Notice, we say, or web entities website. So now I don't want to read everything, but I am telling you the previous table and this table in addition to the 4 categories: assessment, identification, and control, things like that, you highlight. Okay, I don't want to read everything, but you read everything, right? And get the understanding with proper examples and categories. Okay. With this, I'll stop this one. Risk management. You probably I gave a question maybe in this slide or previous slide. So I frame that question again, something like that, for you to prepare, because all this is a very lengthy presentation. Don't worry. Right. What do you understand by procurement risk? Okay, stop that. Okay. Um, give some examples for different steps of risk manage risk management. Understand by risk and okay the risk management process that covers the identification, everything. Give some examples for different example. Pertaining how to mitigate risk under different stages of the procurement process. That's what we discussed, right? Pre-contract, co-contract, or post-contract. So you have some examples how to mitigate risk. I mean, that is basically enough. Okay? Clear? Clear or not clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now we go to what is this? This is basically supply chain. So this area basically talk about the strategic management, because I said to develop your corporate plan, action plan, also part of that strategic management you have to touch upon. Different strategies, strategic planning, strategic procurement planning, can touch upon. Different levels, okay. What is the strategy and all. Always concentrate strategic procurement planning, but I'll have to touch upon strategy management little bit, not much, because it's not a management this thing, but your knowledge is important in this area also, because otherwise you will not understand what is, how to use strategic planning. Okay, I just skip for you, perhaps we'll see. Okay, I don't want to discuss these areas. You have gone through now, right? We'll see another presentations. Session 2, less than that. Same thing. Same thing, no? Session 3. That's my one. Oh. I have already done. This one is important again. Donor funded project, procurement planning and various concepts related to donor funded World Bank, OADB, UN, USAID. This one. You might get a question on this area also, because you should be familiar with, okay, I will frame a small question at the end. Just follow this one. There are characteristics, World Bank, those are different. Project cycle, procurement cycle, project procurement cycle. This one, right? Right. They also look at VFM, value for money, integrity and transparency, fit for purpose, all things, because this one is important in sustainability, especially donors, green procurement and various things they concentrate in addition to other things, because we have not still, our guideline has not prepared for sustainable procurement, social and incorporating environmental, social and governance, environment, ESG, factors like reducing carbon. Okay, those are donors' concern. Or anyway, conflict of interest. But my point here, procurement cycle, I think we have to concentrate that. Project needs, identification of needs, market research. You see that the things we discussed, they have incorporated into their project cycle. Because in our guideline, we just mentioned it is not part and partial. So they say identify the needs, do market research, then plan. Risk, I don't know whether risk is there. Prepare the specification, budget control, then solicitation document, something like that. Standstill period, that is separate area. This also important. Project needs, okay, same thing, elaborated. Needs and need assessment and donor funded, okay. This is also important. Review by foreign funding agency and their donor review. There are 2 reviews, prior and post review. This is important. Huh? They do prior review and post review. What is prior and what is post? You see here, prior review and post review should be able to explain. Yeah, post review is here. How they do that, and this is for additional thing, how they disperse method. I don't know whether, anyway, that is for your knowledge is important. Different direct payment using special dollar account, special commit, various things are special commitment. Just read that, it's important for your knowledge. How to issue letter of credit and all. Fund withdrawal process is part of that. How we can get funds. That is actually financial management of donor funded projects. Yeah, financial report, audit and things like that. But for your understanding, project close up also that. Okay, what I want to give is just frame a question, we see. Briefly explain the procurement management cycle of donor funded project. Donor funded project using World Bank, ADB, or JICA. Yeah, procurement management cycle, one thing. So maybe part B. How foreign funding institution review procurement activities of the borrower or project. That means we'll have to explain the prior review and post review, things like that. Something like that I can think of. I don't know, right? Okay, we'll go to and see another presentation. Session 6, what is that? Okay, that is risk management. This is again the procurement planning. You can just go through any additional points you can learn. Anyway, that is part of procurement planning. Right, because anyway, procurement planning is important in every aspect. Need assessment, risk management, what else? The donor-funded projects, strategic procurement planning. Those are the important areas I think is important. You decide based on your insights and knowledge you have gained, what kind of things you can, prepare for your exam. But this time I allocate for you to ask questions. If you have more, please take this time. Anything not clear to you, planning module. Time is available. Another 15 minutes we can go.
Regarding the master procurement plan, I think it is unique for each ministry, right? Each ministry should prepare that plan.
No,
for
even
their-
department, corporation also they should prepare master plan. Because ministry allocation is different. No? Say ministry, they have their own targets, but the department has different targets, different objectives. Department also should prepare accounting officers and chief accounting officers. You have to prepare your master plan and send to the ministry. For example, if you are working in a, say, irrigation department, coming under Mahavali or whatever the ministry, so you should have your master procurement plan. Ministry has a different plan. Okay, there is not the one plan. Not only the ministry is responsible, all departments, projects. Project, of course, we don't worry much because that is looked after by donors. But they have to submit at least for our monitoring purpose. But we don't worry because they are doing very good monitoring. They all the documents will have to send to the donor for their no objection. Even specifications, within document, pre-qualification document, evaluation report, everything covered. Therefore, you don't much. And also they prepare their plans based on strategy. A procurement strategy, something they prepare at the beginning of the project. what is called the document project. What document? Project. Project. Maybe that is there in the presentation. I can't remember the word. Right. The point you ask is no, every organization should prepare their at least 3-year master plan. Okay. Everything is clear? No question at all? Asari, are you there or not there? Maybe she's not there, no?
So, sir, excuse me.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
the current practice is also each department and the ministries has to send their annual budget requirements, and the next year budget requirement for the Ministry of Finance.
Yes. Yes.
With this new guideline, with the procurement plan, master procurement plan, is there any change just to be made for this budgeting process?
Yes, because in case of budget also, you have to give a medium-term budgetary framework, right? Because the Ministry of Finance prepare 3-year budget, no? Especially capital expenditure, they are not asking recurrent, but procurement plan include capital and recurrent both. So your ongoing projects, capital project to be informed to the budget department because they submit to the parliament medium-term budgetary framework along with the annual budget. In that sense, I mean, if you inquire into your especially finance people and planning people, they know what information they should send to the treasury for 3-year or medium-term budget. We prepare a medium-term budget now. Especially say ongoing project, they have to allocate funds no in advance. But
Yes.
that is only one area. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, other thing is, sir, all this, the local government and provincial councils also have to submit this procurement plans
Yeah, we
for.
say because this, yeah, you are correct. Because one thing is procurement is a devolved subject, number one. Provincial councils, they have their own guidelines based on our guideline. They have adapted our guidelines with some structural changes to suit the provincial setup. For example, they don't have a cabinet. They have a board of ministers. We say high-level procurement committee. They have high, I mean, I can't remember the word I gave. We gave that wording. High-level provincial council, something like that, rather than cabinet, right? We don't also use. Point is, their plans, they should send through the Ministry of Provincial Council or directly 7, 8, or 9, 8 Provincial Council to NPC. That's how we have agreed upon their master procurement plans. All other departments, ministries coming under provincial council should be consolidated into the provincial council master plan. In case of provincial council, we are not going to consider each and every department generally because we are having a monitoring platform now online. So they can log into the monitoring system. Everything can be uploaded. So we can see that's how that is happening. Provincial, local government
Finally,
also. Yeah, sorry.
yes, finally, the purpose of your monitoring system is to analyze the entire country's procurement.
Yeah, correct. The point is the from the Constitution, NPC has given the mandate to monitor the country procurement. It includes provincial council, local authorities, all ministries, departments, projects, and statutory organization, public companies also. But they can, sorry.
Yeah, I have another one because some institutions such as the central bank, they are not under this Ministry of Finance or
No.
the
Central bank is an
financing.
independent organization. Yeah.
Yes, then our financing matters will not count for the government accounts actually.
No.
Then
No, it is
then
completely
do you have any?
independent.
Yes. Then do
Sorry?
you have a separate monitoring mechanism for that such organizations?
No. We don't have. We have not touched upon such areas. Some, for example, Sri Lanka cricket. Also, there's a big argument. No, they are not coming under government or public, and their money is not public and things like that. For the time being, we have not decided that area. There are few organizations we are not going to monitor. Or otherwise, all organizations coming under our purview. I mean, for monitoring purpose. Whatever we say, it takes time, right? It will not happen in next year, I don't think. But theoretically, they all coming under the purview of the monitoring of the NPC. Since we use monitoring platform, what they can do is they can upload based on the procurement guideline requirements. Guideline says you have to send your master plan, detailed plan to NPC before 31st January of the financial year. Okay? Whether they send or not is up to them to audit and our NPC to inquire. Okay?
No, the matter is now the procurement commission is stabilized under the Parliament Act. No, then it will govern by the Parliament. I think. Then
Yeah, parliamentary,
all institutions.
constitutional council chaired by the speaker and
All these
government.
institutions.
Yeah, sorry.
Then my argument is this: all these institutions like Central CBSL also are responsible to the Parliament.
Maybe, yeah. They are also responsible. Their accountability is there because the central bank governor also came and explained something to the COP committee, no? The one day I can't remember. Whatever it is, those are we can touch upon lately, but there are more important things we have to roll out now with our ministries departments, without going to further. Right. Maybe theoretically okay, but we'll see our capacity and country practices and also. But that is the basic idea. So in this module, what we have to concentrate is planning process, procurement planning, local funds as well as donor funds, how we prepare plan, and all related activities of planning, need assessment, risk management, and what else? Another thing, actually, I don't know whether you are done. To do planning, you have to use MS Project. Did you undergo any presentation on MS Project? Yes or
No,
no?
sir. No,
No.
sir.
Well, yeah. But because those things cannot be done manually, no. This master plan and things, those are very cumbersome jobs. So maybe in the future, earlier I included that one session in my diploma program I conducted under NPA and all, MS project for preparation of plans, procurement plans. So then his IT guy will come and do that. Anyway, that will be useful for you to, maybe some people are familiar with MS project. I'm not an IT guy anyway. That will be useful to prepare plans. If you don't have that knowledge, please try to learn if you are really interested in preparing these plans. What I want to say finally, look at the syllabus and see the presentations given by lecturers, resource people, and you may be able to demonstrate your knowledge at the exam and the way some hints I gave for you to prepare. That's all I can tell you. If you have any further question, you can ask. No question? Shall we wind up then?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your guidance and close for the exam.
Okay. Thank you so much. And we will meet next week for decision-making module, no?
Yeah.
Okay. When is the exam scheduled?
Yeah.
Principal?
It will be started on 24th January.
Right, 24th January. Then what is the second one?
All the
24th.
Saturdays are allocated for the exam after that.
What is your next module? Next module?
You mean exam papers or second semester?
After exam? Yeah, second semester, yeah.
It is not yet declared, sir.
Right. So did you follow bidding document workshop also?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
We
that,
all are followed.
All
yeah.
followed, no? For that bidding document workshop, I observed there are more than 100 participants. How many participants in this course?
So I think those participants are from all batches.
Right. Okay, we will have a physical workshop also somewhere in January. Before that, we will discuss the international documents also, ICB goods, especially information systems and all. Then we can cover all shopping, NCB, ICB at the physical workshop, right? So we can discuss practical things when we are developing bidding documents, especially a bid data sheet and condition of contract. Okay. Do you think that is useful, bidding document workshop presentations?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think you said you are using FIDIC, right? One person talked me about FIDIC, and actually the FIDIC documents are unable to find here because otherwise you'll have to purchase that document. It is not online documents are not possible, right? We have to purchase, no? FIDIC document. Anybody has FIDIC documents? Latest versions? Okay. Shall we wind up then?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good
sir.
Thank
night.
you. Good
Thank you
night,
very much,
everybody.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Good
Thank you
night.
so much, sir. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night. You also must be tired, 6 hours.